We're gonna unwrap these and give you our verdict. Drop straight out. Get these old crusties in the bin, mate. Time to use. While he gets on with that, let's do the wheel swap and we'll...
All right, so we filmed this video way back at the start of the year when it was a lot colder than it is now, as you'll be able to tell. Basically, it's a SURRON video. We've been out on a massive shred. They're covered in mud and we're due to do a load of upgrades. But before we upgrade it, of course, we need to get rid of that filth and jet wash it. So that's what we do first. And in the rest of the video, we're gonna get straight onto the upgrades. So enjoy, drop a comment, let us know what you think, and let's get straight into it.
All right, so while we're at it, here's a quick couple tips about jet washing your bike, because it is something you need to approach with caution. Wouldn't just go blasting any bike, whether that's a dirt bike like this or a mountain bike or anything else with a jet wash. So as you can see, one thing we've done already is we've bagged up the controls, the display, that's all covered. The next thing to do is the throttle. So you can use plastic bags like us, or you can use some cling film or anything that will just help to keep the water out temporarily. The next thing, come and have a look, is obviously remove the battery first. That is essential. And then we've also covered up the battery connectors and where the cables enter the breaker at the top. The controllers on these SURRONs should be waterproof, but at the same time, I wouldn't go blasting it directly with the jet wash. Same applies for the motor. So stand back a bit, don't go super close with the jet wash. And then the same applies to mountain bikes, SURRONs, whatever you're cleaning. Don't blast the bearings super close. Don't put it right up and blast into your suspension seals. So just a couple tips there. Jet wash your bike, don't destroy it. So that's the tips out the way. Let's get to washing. Rinsed all the main dirt off. Now it's time for a bit of snow foam and then we're pretty much done. All right, we are back inside, done with the cleaning, and it is time to get to action. We've got the Fast Ace forks. We're gonna unwrap these, get these fitted up first, and give you our verdict. So let's go. So one of the reasons we're changing the forks, firstly, is a performance upgrade. That's pretty obvious. But also, these forks are destroyed. They have seen better days a long time ago. You can see the stanchion there, completely worn, means the internals are damaged and they aren't running straight. So they're completely scored, they are ruined. They barely compress, so they just about do the job that suspension should do. And it's time to throw these in the bin and get these on. So let's get to it, please. We're gonna get the new ones fitted, so let's get to work. Gonna be plugging the Down to Ride merch as well, you get me, mate? Okay, first job, we need to get the wheel off. It's pretty straightforward. All right, now we just remove the number plate. It's just zip ties, pretty straightforward on that one. Carbon, mate, real carbon. I think it might actually be real carbon, to be honest, yeah. I'm taking the piss, but. Now we'll pop the stem off, so I'm gonna undo the top cap. It's the first thing to come off. And then the pinch bolts on the stem will be after this. So the stem's loose, pull that straight off. That's the top cap. And we also need to remove the brake caliper. It's just a couple bolts down here. You know what, I've got a feeling the Fast Ace comes with the brake mount already, so I think the caliper is gonna bolt straight on there, which will make life easier. All right, so the wheel is off. The bars and stem are off. We've removed the brake caliper and a couple other little accessories. Now it's just time to loosen off the top clamp of the fork and we can drop the forks out. That's Yavor in the background. He's happy, as you can tell. Loves watching me do work, sitting around. No one wants to see Yavor in the YouTube video, do they, mate? Get out of here, mate. What are you even doing here? Cool. So that's the top crown off the forks. And now the forks can just drop straight out. That's it. Get these old crusties in the bin, mate. All right, so we've run into our first small problem. But this bearing, as you can see, it's a state really rusty and it is stuck on the steerer tube. But there's the crown race underneath that we need to use anyway. So I'm gonna use this crown race puller. It's probably not a tool that a lot of you guys have at home, unfortunately. But I'm gonna use this to pull the crown race and the bearing off in one go. Yeah?
Even if I was rich, I don't think I'd have
Yeah.
I don't know what that guy's up to. Like.
I'm just joking.
Your jokes are whack
Let Yavor know what you think of his jokes in the comments below.
Put it off.
Yeah, there's two like plates with angled edges, and so they will tuck under the lip of the crown race. That will clamp it from the bottom, and then when you screw this down from above, this pushes on top of the steerer tube and basically just pulls it all upwards. Yeah. There we go. Off. And there's our bearing and crown race. And that's filthy, so we're going to clean that up and re-grease it before we put it on the new forks as well. Filming me clean up this grubby bearing. Oh, that's your bike.
His bike. So what is it that you guys just put on?
It's a headset clamp. So it kind of stops the tube from flaring a bit under load. Because when you got the fork, let's say you take a lot of impact on the front end, it's going to put pressure on the head tube and it will stop the top of the head tube flaring where the headset goes in. So it just makes the headset way stiffer and stops play in the future. So it's a good sort of pre-preventative mod, really. All right, so this is the bottom headset cup bearing. We are going to apply a very generous amount of grease because this is not something that's going to be high performance like a high-speed bearing. It is just going to get a lot of grit and dirt and abuse. So we just want to get it as greased up as possible, really. See that? That's what you call generous grease. It's the moment of truth. It is install time. Let's get these on. It's fork install time, aka time to install the fork. Yeah, fork, you know, mate. I think this bearing needs to be tapped on. It is a very tight fit. All right, so we've kind of run into a little problem, which is there's a ghost in the shop and he's knocking handlebars off. The bearing isn't going onto the steerer tube. You can see there's a gap there. So it's quite tight. So I think the bearings might need to be tapped down slightly. So we're just going to give that a go. But we're going to test it first gently. And if it doesn't go down, well, we're going to have to think of another solution. All right, let's put these forks on the soft surface so we don't damage the bottom. Lovely, perfect. All right, there we go. That's another thing to remember for you guys at home. That is another problem you'll run into. So if you don't have one of these, so far we've used crown race puller, we've used a crown race setter. If you don't have either of those, you might have a bit of trouble installing these, but that's where Bike Shack comes in. So give us a shout. Fast Ace fork install, we got you covered. All right, yeah, that's better. Lovely. All right, that's sorted. Now, let's get the crown on. I believe this has spread apart as well. I don't know if that's from the factory or that happened during shipping.
Yeah, this is the gentle part you shouldn't film, so I was...
See that karate chop technique? That's professional. With the headlock, I think. Just one spacer, probably same as before.
Lads, listen, yeah, your headset's creaking, making bare noise, moving, your cups, gone. Good thing. Yo, say, gusset. Headlock.
Gusset.
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 That's
Gusset.
That's it.
Gusset. Gusset.
Do you want a professional explanation? Yeah, come on in. All right. You can cut in a bit of your voice, you know. I liked his one. I liked his one, but some people might want to. Right, this is the Gusset Unilock, and it is designed to replace a star nut, which is the little star with a threaded nut in the middle that you hammer inside the forks. So this is way stronger. Under heavy load, star nuts can pull out, they can distort a little bit. This keeps your whole front end a lot more solid because it bolts top and bottom and just clamps it down really securely, which is what you want when you're sending big jumps on a SURRON. All right, cool. So we just took out this headset spacer because there was too big of a gap between the top of the fork steerer tube and the stem. So you want to make sure that the steerer tube is kind of as close to the top as you can get it without interfering with your top cap. So yeah, we've replaced it for a shorter steerer. Now, this is our Unilock head cap lock bolt, and that's what's going in now. So that's how it goes. Let me grab an Allen key, finish it off. Yeah, that's pretty clean. As you can see, it locks against the bottom of the steerer tube. Let's turn that around. Get the logo facing correct. Oh, they put a 6mm. Cool, cheers mate. Make a fool of me on video, why don't you? All right, that is definitely locked down. That's nice and tight. Now, we can give these, not got much room with the bars on, but we can give the forks a gentle tap and line up the fork legs. That's the next step. Time to use the good tool, mate, my favorite one. Oh, I've got everything in the way here. We got any room for a tap? Yeah, we got enough room for a little tap. Right, that one's in pretty far. Let's go down a bit. I think that's about even. That looks pretty spot on to me. So forks are on, headset clamp is on, tightened up all the crowns here, we've adjusted the headlock stem. All we need to do is tighten the stem bolts, make sure the bars are aligned. Anyway, we're going to put it together, give us a few minutes, and then we can give you the finished look, and we'll see how it looks. Sake, you know I'm getting tired, bro. Yeah, this thing is hiding an absolute bird's nest behind there. Time to take off the packaging and reveal what this looks like. Hopefully, imagine it just completely destroyed underneath. Just rusty stanchions. Nah, look, it's beautiful.
Extreme.
Fresh. That's what we were hoping for. Yeah, I was thinking, it doesn't look like there's loads of travel on that. Interesting. Yeah, extreme.
Cross.
Cross. Extreme cross.
Performance. boots.
Yeah, perhaps. Could be right. Oh, this side says high speed.
Whoa.
Because that's what we're going to be doing. High speeds, mate.
Ooh, and it says bike.
Bike. Oh, high speed bike. They knew their target market, mate, when they done these decals. So there's a couple interesting things to note about this fork. First is the model. This is the ALX 13RC. You'll see it says it on the fork leg there. It's very similar, but it's not exactly the same as the ones that come stock on the SURRONs. I think it was like around 21, 22 before they changed to the KKE forks, which in my opinion was a downgrade. But with these fast aces, again, that's the model. But what else it says down here, which is interesting, is 60 pounds. So that is because this version is the version with the 60 pound spring. So that's the weight, the spring rate of the spring inside the fork. The version that comes stock or stock with the SURRON, or if you don't specify the 60 pound version, you will get either a 50 pound version or a 35 to 50, which is what comes on the stock SURRON. That means at the end of the stroke, you have 35 pound spring rate. And as it goes through the travel, the spring rate will increase progressively to 50 pounds. Basically, the spring has a different wind rate at the top than it does at the bottom. So you'll feel a sense of progression through the shock. I would say for most people, if you are, if you're my size or similar, so you weigh around like 70 to 80 kilos or anything over that, I would say you definitely want to go for the 60 pound version. I haven't tested the 60 pound personally, but that was what was advised by Fast Ace. And I've heard a lot of people say the 50 pound gets a bit too soft, especially if you're sending big jumps. And even if you're lighter than 70 kilos, if you're doing big hits, big sends, probably worth going to the 60 pound spring anyway. Yeah, that's just an explanation of spring rate and why we chose this specific model. All right, we're ready to start taking the back wheel off. Let's get the back wheel swapped. Let's go. All right, so while we're doing the wheel swap, Yavor is kindly gonna, knock over the SURRON. Almost destroy customer SURRON. What is he like, mate? Now, while we do the wheel swap, Yavor is going to put the front wheel in and just do a couple finishing touches. He's been zip tying some cables, neatening the whole bike up. It's small stuff, but it makes a big difference to the overall look. Anyway, while he gets on with that, let's do the wheel swap and we'll talk about some differences as well while we're at it.